Chris Arnett. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Shoulda, woulda, coulda, Chris Arnett.
Last Saturday, I was at the post office where I've been going to for about 20 years. There's a guy that works there that's been there probably since the days of the Pony Express. He's been there forever. I went up to him and I said, "Hey, aren't you ready to retire?" He looked at me and said, "Yeah, I sure am." So I said to him, "Well, what are you going to do when you retire?" He said, "Well, I'm going to repair musical instruments." I said, "Well, why haven't you done that already?" He looked at me and said, "Shoulda, woulda, coulda." Shoulda, woulda, coulda? My fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, esteemed judges. I'm here today to talk to you about shoulda, woulda, coulda, and how to break the chains of shoulda, woulda, coulda from our lives. There are 3 points I want to make. The first point is by a man named Arthur Ward from the early 1920s when he said, "If you can imagine it, you can create it. If you can dream it, you can become it." Now, a fine example of that was a man named Jim. Now, Jim used to walk around with a check for $20 million in his pocket. Now, if I had a check for $20 million, you guys wouldn't see me ever. I guarantee you that. You see me on the TV show, Lifestyles of the Rich Without the Fame. But Jim had 2 problems. The first problem was a personal check made out to himself from himself. And the second problem was, as my mom used to say, he didn't have 2 nickels to rub together or a pillow to lay his head on. The man slept in his van. But every day he would drive that van up above the hills of Los Angeles. And he would sit there and he would dream. He would dream big dreams. Until one day, he broke the chains of shoulda, woulda, coulda from his neck. And today he can cash that check. Because that man is the famed actor Jim Carrey. He broke the chains of shoulda, woulda, coulda because he discovered his passion and his unique humor, and he shares it with the world. The second point I want to make, as John Brahm said, no man is an island unto himself. We're all interconnected in our world, in our society. When you leave here today, I want you to think, when you get in that car of yours, think about how all those little parts were made by people and put together by people, and that car was shipped over here by people and was sold by people. Think about the gas that was mined in probably another country and shipped over here by people and refined by people, turned into plastics and products by people. When we leave here, we'll probably go to a restaurant, sit on wooden chairs, sit at a wooden table, tap a table in front of you. That table was made by people. Everything we do is connected with everyone else. And it's all about being of service. As Martin Luther King said, all can be great because all can serve. How are we serving ourselves today? How are we helping others in our lives today? It's about being of service. In 1980, I was employed at Pacific Bell Telephone. And I hid not 2 seconds, not 4 seconds, but every second of that job for 8.5 years. I lived in a world of disparity and darkness. I was depressed. I saw no light to my future. Every day, I would drag myself out of bed and I would go to work. Get that coffee pot by 10 a.m. That sugary snack by 11 a.m. How many of us, that sounds familiar? Until one day, I broke the chains of shoulda, woulda, coulda from my neck. In 1988, with a love for personal training and weightlifting, I started my first business, helping others enjoy weight training. Body Sculpting by Chris, and I've been successful ever since. 2 years ago, I came here to Toastmasters to improve my public speaking skills. I started a podcast show recently where I talk to young men around the world who didn't have the benefit of fathers to teach them how to be prosperous in their lives and abundant and how just to be men. That show has grown to men all over the world. But I'm being of service. The reason why I was at the post office box was because I was mailing out some previous episodes that people paid good money for. But I'm being of service. It's about being of service. How can we help our fellow man? The final point I want to make. If you took 10 strong Hercules men and gave them 100 strong Hercules men, gave them 100 logs, had them toss those logs into the heaven. By a show of hands, how many times do you think it would take before those logs landed on the earth in the perfect formation of a log cabin? That's the illustrated point that we are not an accident. Mankind is here for a purpose, a unique purpose. And it's up to us to discover what that purpose is. We all have a unique sense of purpose within us that's burning, trying to get out. If you take your fingers and rub them against your thumbs, you feel fingertips. That's how unique we are. We all have individual fingerprints. And life is about discovering our purpose and our passions in life, as Jim Carrey did, as each and every one of us can do, so we all can break the chains of shoulda, woulda, coulda from our lives. In closing, it's time for everyone to discover their passions in life, discover their purpose. Because nobody wants to live a life at the end of your days where you say, shoulda, woulda, coulda, my fellow Toastmasters.